Good evening. So I had planned to come on live tonight around 8:30, but my schedule is such that I had to come on about an hour early because I actually have a very, very early call time tomorrow. But it was my intention to go live at 8:30 this evening, and I had to make some changes. But I wanted to go live because this is a requested live from a follower who wanted me to speak on prenuptial agreements. Okay, let me see if I can adjust my camera. I don't like the fact that the camera is so high. There we go. Hopefully that's better. I have this new camera stand, and you see how you can see the lights? See how you can see the lights in my glasses? I absolutely hate that. And I'm not sure, I'm gonna buy a new pair of glasses here, and I'm not sure if I can get like an anti-glare. Like there's something I can get on my glasses that will help with the glare of like the light ring. But I absolutely hate the glare in my glasses on the light ring. So please, excuse me. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight about prenuptial agreements. And so this is something that I posted a reel about. A beautiful couple, an Asian man and a black woman, beautiful couple. And I posted that reel earlier today about them and their prenuptial agreement and how wonderful it's working out. And then I went over to David Burris Academy. Is that his platform, David Burris Global? And he had also posted today about, is having a prenuptial a Christian thing to do? Like, how do Christians feel about prenuptials? So I just wanted to talk a little bit today about that. So the person who actually asked me to do this live, to make this video, she sent in 3 questions. So I'm going to read her questions, but we're just going to talk in general about prenuptial agreements. Okay. So her first question was, what's a fair prenup for a woman to sign? So here, I'm going to give you let me preface that question by saying, I personally believe that the couple needs to come in agreement. They need to do what works for them, the couple. Not one person, not the other person, not anyone outside of the relationship or marriage, but the couple. So it's kind of like sex. It's kind of like the marital bed is undefiled, right? The Bible says the marital bed is undefiled. What does that mean? That means that whatever the couple agrees to do within their marital bed is perfectly fine. So where one couple may not do oral sex, right? Another couple will, because that works for them. That is something that they both agree to. And if I'm being honest, I feel that way about prenuptial agreements. It's something that the couple has to agree to. So for instance, if I've made up my mind that moving forward, if I were to get married again, okay, I'd like to have a prenuptial agreement. I would have to marry someone that also would agree with that. Like I wouldn't have that conversation and then the person say, well, no, I don't believe in prenuptials. I don't see the point in it. Okay, we wouldn't be a good fit for each other. That would be yet another way to determine if you and this person are a good fit. If that's something that you want to do and the other person does not, then you all are incompatible. So you all heard about the basketball player, and I'm going to see if I can bring up his name real quick. Okay, I'm going to look it up. What is his name? Steven Jackson. Okay, so everybody knows his story, very popular story. It's been some years now, but he called off his wedding, and I want to say he called off the wedding, was it the day of? Let's see. Yeah, I think it was the day of, because she did not sign the prenuptial agreement. And again, this is something that they should have discussed before the wedding was planned. They should have come to an agreement before the wedding was even planned. But the fact that they couldn't come to agreement over this says they weren't compatible. They shouldn't have been getting married in the first place because they weren't compatible over something as simple as this. Now, the thought about, Is this the Christian thing to do? Here's the thing I'm going to say about that. I think we spiritualize things a little too much. We make everything about our faith when the truth of the matter is this. A couple, again, just like the sexual marriage bed, a couple needs to come together and determine what works for them. Okay, so just like there's nowhere in the Bible that says man and wife shouldn't be having oral sex, man and wife shouldn't be having anal sex, man and wife shouldn't be, I don't know, choking each other or whatever is their thing, right? Licking on each other's toes. None of that is specified in the Bible, because it's up to the husband and the wife to determine what they do and what they like. So I feel that same way about prenuptial agreements, that it really is up to the man and the woman. They need to determine if this is something, that they can agree upon. So back to the question that she asked. What's a fair prenup for a woman to sign? A fair prenup is any prenuptial agreement that spells out in great detail what the financial responsibilities are, under what reasons that they would divorce. Like, all of those things should be spelled out in the prenuptial agreement. If there are any children, where they live, their homes, how they maintain their homes. And as far as being fair, so if a person came to you and said, hey, I've amassed a $2 million fortune. Maybe that fortune is in real estate. So I've amassed these homes. They're worth $2 million, $5 million in real estate. That's something I did before I met you. And that's something that I want to maintain in my portfolio. So I want to marry you. I love you and want to be with you and want to have a life together. And I want those things to be excluded from the things that we own, our properties or our agreed upon financial wealth, right? So in my mind, again, the woman has to agree to that. She has to be willing to say, okay, that seems fair. This is something you had before you met me. And maybe if it's a man, maybe he wants to leave those homes to his mother, his father, or his children. Okay, I believe that that's fair. Now, the woman could also ask that from the day of the marriage forward, that if there were any additional homes or any additional wealth that came out of that marriage, that would be split. And again, you can talk about the split. The split could be 50-50, 60-40, 70-30. All of those things are going to be specified in the prenuptial agreement. Okay? But you need to understand this is going to be different for different people. It's going to depend on the age of the person. It's going to depend on the amount of wealth that they have. There are lots and lots and lots of different caveats to this. There is no one size fits all when it comes to prenuptial agreements. There is no one size fits all. But here's what I would tell a woman. Get clarity. Get as much clarity as you can. Have an understanding. If I am going to stay at home and raise our children and have our children, what will that look like? What will that mean for me? If the marriage ended, what would then happen? Right? Would I continue to receive a stipend every week? Would I get alimony? Of course, I would get child support. Would the children go to me full time, part time? Like, all of those things need to be spelled out. And here's what I personally believe. I don't have a problem with prenuptial agreements. I personally believe that there's half of the world that lives in la la land. They live in this fantasy world where nothing bad ever happens and it's all about love, right? I've spoken about these people before. So that's the land that they live in. And they want to, make it seem like, any talk about anything real, any talk about anything practical is somehow, we're not stepping out in faith, and it's ruining the romance and it's ruining the, Look, y'all, we have a right side and a left side of our brain for a reason. If we had one side of the brain that was all feeling and all emotion, or one side of the brain that was all logic and all reason, we would be all messed up. We need both sides of the brain. Okay? And so the prenuptial agreement lives on the left side. It lives on the practical, logical, factual side of the brain. And I don't understand why we are so against marrying those two together. I can love a man dearly and sign his prenuptial. See, remember what I always tell you all, two things can be true at the same time. But it's like we have this war, this black or white, good or bad, right or wrong. There is such a thing as dialectical thinking. Two things can be true at the same time. I can be madly in love with a man and want to spend the rest of my life with him. And I can also want to hold on to the house that I've bought and paid for, and I want to leave that to my children. Those two things can exist. And the same for him. So that's the part that we're not, it's like I said, it's split right down the middle. You have the people over here who want to live in fantasy land, and it's all about the feelings. You have the people over here who are, in my opinion, all about the practicality, all about it's got to make sense. We have to be willing to marry those two lands together because that's how we work. That's how our brain is. So we have to use our wise mind, which means we need to take a little bit of feeling and a little bit of logic, and we need to blend it together. All right, let me just see your comments before I keep talking. My 2 cents, prenups have no place in marriage. You're already assuming things may or may not work out, already starting off on the wrong foot. Yeah, that's half of the argument that I heard today. Half of the people saying it's somehow setting you up for failure, that it's somehow, presuppositioning that, okay, the marriage is not going to work out. And then I had a lot of people say, marriage is a contract, marriage is a business. Oh, marriage is not a business. It's a covenant, so it's like split right down the middle. It is split right down the middle. Myself personally, I don't have a problem with prenuptial agreements. I don't have a problem signing it. I don't have a problem giving it to someone to sign. I've lived 56 years. I don't live in la la land. As anybody who's been on my platform knows, I'm a pretty practical woman. Okay. I have feelings and emotions and all the things, but I'm also pretty practical. And a lot of that's because I lived a really long time. I've lived a really long time and I've seen things with my own eyes. Okay. A trust prior to marriage would avoid the prenup conversation. Okay. That's good. I'm glad you're bringing that into the conversation. That's good to know. I don't know much about trusts. If you got any more information about that, 201 Hustler, I don't know anything about trust. I'm vaguely familiar. Nobody technically gets married to get a divorce, but unfortunately life happens and people change. So again, like we have to, I don't know why you all are acting like logic can't enter into this conversation. Like marriage is all about, and look, the same people who are talking from the Christian perspective about marriage being a covenant, which I agree, and you should have faith and you should make sure God has put you with the right one. And if you have faith in the marriage and you have faith in the Lord and this and that and nothing bad's going to happen and this and that and you're going to work really hard to keep the marriage together. The reality is there are people that I know that have woken up. Their marriage mate has, as they say, changed, or they're different, or something has happened, something has shifted, and they no longer want to be married. And one thing I know about marriages is if one person no longer wants to be married, the marriage is over. Doesn't matter what the other person says. Doesn't matter how good they are. Doesn't matter if they want to work it out. That's the practical reality. And then, so you have the land of the people who say, oh, covenant and God and faith and this and that. But then did you know that God made marriage for purpose? Did you know that God didn't make marriage to make you happy? You didn't read that, huh? You didn't understand that in the Bible. That marriage is not about you being happy. Marriage is not about you drinking champagne and making love in the hot tub and, all the butterflies and the rainbows. Oh, no. Marriage will reveal your character. Marriage will help you to be the best version of yourself. So these same people that's talking about all the fantasy stuff, marriage is not the full of love and rainbows and butterflies and all that. No, it's the thing that's you're going to be baptized in fire. So they forgot to tell you that, huh? That marriage, men and women, God never intended for men and women to come together to be happy. That was never the intention. So we don't talk enough about that. We have lost the concept of until death do us part. If you aren't willing to risk it all, don't get married. People who are not self-reliant have issues with prenups. That right there. That right there. Okay? So, yeah. Do you have the ability to take care of yourself at any point in time? Whether your spouse dies, right? If your spouse didn't have life insurance or they didn't set up their life in a certain way, do you have the ability to take care of yourself? Your spouse could die. Then what? So yes, there should be a measure of self-sufficiency. There should be a measure of, I was a stay-at-home wife and mother. Let's look at my story. I was a stay-at-home wife and mother. I was degreed. I had a college degree. I had a license as a teacher, but I was a stay-at-home wife and mother for 12 years. Been out of the workforce for 12 long years. And look at me now. The one thing I'm willing to bet on over and over is me. So this brain right here and all the knowledge that it has, at any point in time, I can go from 0 to 100. And personally, I believe everyone should. You should have the ability to go from 0 to 100 at any point in time. Y'all, this stand, I got this stand and it is acting a fool. Sorry. Okay. Her second question was, if a man wants to protect assets before and after union, meaning total financial separation, is that an incentive for him to leave whenever? Total financial separation. So I would not, depending on what your role will be in that marriage. So let's go back to Anita's example. I agreed to be a stay-at-home wife and mother. And the understanding was that during that marriage, that was my role. I would not work outside of the home. I would not generate any income, outside. I would not generate any outside income. And so the understanding was when that marriage was dissolving that, okay, you're going to have to maintain this home. You're going to have to maintain me, the children, and this home. And if I'm being totally honest, I was paid spousal support, but because we had not been married like super long, the judge put a time limit on it. And what he did was he said, we're going to let her go back to school. We're going to let her get more education or get certification or whatever it is she wants to do. We're going to give her time to get right back up to speed to where, she can generate income again. Because clearly I can generate income. Generating income is not a problem. But I had been out of the workforce for 12 years. And so I had to get my license back. I had to get new certifications. A lot had changed in 12 years. And so the judge took that into account and he gave me plenty of time in which to do that. Now, in that time, I went and got another undergraduate degree. I went and got a master's degree. So I had plenty of time to do whatever I needed to do so that I could generate income on my own. And that still didn't mean that my ex-husband, did not provide for us and our household. He's always paid child support. He pays for the children's college tuition. So never had a problem with that. But I only received spousal support for a specific amount of time. I did not have an agreement where I just got unlimited spousal support. That was not the case. It was to get me back on my feet, get me educated. That's what it was all about. So here's what I would say to a woman signing a prenup. If the intention is for you to be a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home mother, you need to put provisions in that prenup that if the marriage should end, that him taking care of you will not end. That's what should be in the prenup. Or you should be given a certain amount of time so that you're able to work and provide for yourself. So that could be 5 years. That could be 10 years. But remember, the goal is for all of us to some degree to be able to take care of ourselves, right? That's the goal. I'm not marrying a man as a life insurance policy. I don't encourage any woman to do that. I encourage you to marry a man that you love and that you care about. And I encourage you to definitely expect that that man will provide for you and your children. But marrying a man with the understanding that, I'm just, I'm going to marry him for XYZ years and then I'm going to leave and he's going to be, he's going to be my meal ticket for the rest of my life. I don't subscribe to that. I just don't subscribe to that. How does having signed a prenup play out in the financial responsibility of both parties? Meaning, should a woman pay for a mortgage for a house that is a premarital asset, etc.? So again, you can make the prenuptial, you can make the prenuptial say whatever you want. Okay, whatever you want. So if I own 2 homes and I've been paying the mortgage on those homes and I want those homes considered to be my asset, my premarital asset, and I want them to stay my asset, I would not have my partner pay the mortgage on those homes. I would continue to pay the mortgage on those homes. And if he said, okay, but the home we live in, our marital home, I'm going to pay the mortgage on that home. Okay. See? All of this has to be spelled out in the prenuptial. But they are very individual. A prenuptial agreement is very much an individual agreement between the husband and the wife. And so you need to make sure that it's something you can live with. And remember, the goal is, when we're talking about coming to an agreement between 2 people, it's not them feeling, oh yeah, I won, or me feeling like I won. It's us saying, I can live with it. That's the goal, that we come to a place where we can say, you know what? I can live with it. That's it. I can live with it. And in my situation, I considered myself to have done very well for myself. I was able to raise my children. I was able to keep them in a lifestyle that they had grew accustomed to. I was able to further my education. I was able to work full time. I was able to start my business. A lot of good things happened. But here's the difference. I was not given a handout. It wasn't a handout in the sense of, okay, Anita, I'm going to finance you from now until the kids grow up. I'm going to finance whatever business. I'm going to buy you this and buy you that. No, it was simply, yeah, you're going to get a leg up. Yeah, you're going to have time and a leg up. But at some point, you're going to fly. You're going to do things on your own. That's how my situation worked. And actually, that's how I wanted it to work. That's how I wanted it to work. Who I am as a woman, yes, I consider myself to be hypergamous. But I ain't no dummy. I'm not no idiot. I know how to make money. I know how to take care of myself. I have tons of great ideas. I know how to run businesses. So this idea of, I'm just going to get someone to take care of me for life. I'm just going to sit around, not make anything of myself. No, I was built for purpose. I was designed for destiny. So I'll never totally align with the whole, I just want a meal ticket. I just want to be taken care of for the rest of my life. I'm just not designed that way. How I'm designed is I have my goals and dreams of my own. I would like to have goals and dreams as a couple. I would like to have goals and dreams as a family, but I have my own goals and dreams. I don't need a man to swoop in and, take care of me for the rest of my life and I not lift a finger and I not do anything. That would not be a very happy life for me. I like doing the things that I'm doing. I love what I do for a living. So there are a lot of women out there, that will not align with that. They won't agree with that. In their mind, if they're marrying a wealthy man, they don't want to do anything. They want to shop. They want to go to the country club and get massages and get their hair and nails done and their feet done and all of that. I was not built for that. Can I be honest? I was built for luxury. Now, let me just say this. I was built for luxury. I was built for having a good life. I was built for living real good and good food and all the things. But I was not built to be purposeless. Like, there is a reason why I'm here. I have a destiny on my life. I have a purpose on my life. And so I just want to be a part of that. So I don't necessarily need a handout. I don't need a man to pay all the bills and me to sit around shopping. Y'all, I hate shopping. Can I be honest? I hate shopping. I don't own any designer purses. I don't own any designer shoes. See, that stuff does not interest me at all. I like to travel. I like to go places and do things. I like to eat at fancy restaurants. I love experiences. I love going to art galleries and to the museum and all. I love a good experience. But in terms of like fancy, tangible items, that just ain't my jam. That's just not my jam. I like things simple. I like to keep things simple. And guess what? I'd be bored to tears. Let's say if my husband was like, oh, I'll just take care of you for the rest of your life. I'll be bored to tears. Just sitting around doing absolutely nothing when I got all of this genius living inside of me. I got books inside of me. I got courses inside of me. I got content inside of me. Oh, no, but that ain't never going to come out into the world because I'm sitting around letting somebody take care of me. So I'm just not interested in that. It very much will depend on the woman. And we can even reverse this because it's men out here now. It's men out here now that high earning women are paying. Okay, what's that latest case about the girl? What's that show? Was it The Bachelorette? And she, oh my Lord, and she paying him some outrageous amount of money. Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, it's, and look, yep, here we go. Here we go. Rachel Lindsay ordered to pay Brian Abasolo $13,000 a month. Y'all wanted feminism. Y'all wanted equality. You got it. You got it. Okay? So when women start tripping about this, oh, I thought that's what you wanted. I thought you wanted everything to be equal. I thought you wanted to do things that men do. Well, baby, men been paying alimony for a long time. Welcome to the club. You got your Mary J. Blige's, you got your Halle Berry's. Who else? It was somebody else famous that had to pay a man. Y'all wanted this. Isn't that what y'all wanted? Didn't you want to do what men do? Well, you got it. Paying this man 13, look, he wanted 20. And she paying $13,257 a month to this man. Couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. But did baby girl have a prenup? Did baby girl have a prenup? That's an interesting question, ain't it? Maybe things would have been different had she had a prenup. So, yup. You taking care of a grown, musky man. Can't be me. It can't be me. I walk away with nothing, right? I walk away with nothing. We'll keep everything that we had when we started this. But I'll be darned if I pay no musky man $3,257 a month. That ain't gonna happen. So, those are my thoughts. I think sometimes we spiritualize this thing a little too much when we're thinking about, well, what Christians do and what they don't do. If it's not in the Bible, if it's not like in the Bible, if it's not, okay, this is what we do and don't do. But this to me is very much an individual decision. This is for individuals to figure out amongst themselves. And it's a reach. To me, you're reaching when you say stuff like, well, you're setting yourself up for failure. No, we have life insurance. We have homeowners insurance. We have car insurance. I got traveler's insurance. I think I'm going on the cruise, but I could get COVID. Anything could happen. And that way, my money will go to the next cruise. I won't lose all my money on that cruise. So I think that's a reach. That's just my personal opinion. You're reaching. Saying that, oh, it's setting you up for divorce. Trust me, baby. It ain't the prenuptial that's going. Can I say this? The prenuptial is the last thing that's going to cause your divorce. You are two fallen human beings. You are two broken, fallen, sinful human beings. The last thing that's going to cause your divorce is a prenup. That's the last thing for you to worry about. So I think that's foolish. Well, we just setting ourselves up. No, baby, it's gonna be one of y'all. One of y'all is gonna cause the end of the marriage. It's not gonna be because of the prenup. I have folks right now that have signed a prenup 5 years, 10 years in the marriage, and they forgot about it. Like, the prenup is in their safe deposit box. Like, they signed it and put it in the safe deposit box, and it lives there. They not thinking about that prenup. They have gone about their business. They have gone about the business of living, loving, and laughing. So the idea that this is something that's going to roll around in your head every day, that's ludicrous. It makes you smart. It makes you a smart business person. It makes you a wise person. That's all. It just makes you wise. It means that it's not just about how I feel, because feelings are fickle. I am actually going to let the left side of my logical, rational brain enter into this conversation. Okay, she says, so what about the prenups that get thrown away in courts when things get messy? That is a legal question that I have no answer to. You're going to have to talk to an attorney. I don't know how ironclad or tight it is. I mean, that's all for you to figure out with an attorney. So I can't even speak to that. You're going to have to talk to someone who's an attorney and make sure that whatever it is you're getting will be upheld. So that's all. That's all. But I don't see a problem with it. I think it's a very individual decision. And do your homework. Learn everything there is to know about it. Do your homework. If you're being given one, take it to an attorney. Let them look over it. Make sure that what you want is in it and that other person wants is in it. Make sure you come to some sort of, again, come to a place or ground where you both can live with it. Okay? Talk about whatever it is you had from the day before the wedding. What's going to happen to those things the day after the wedding? What happens to everything that's accrued from the day of the wedding forward? Talk about, what the financial responsibilities will be and who will do what and pay what. You can even put in the prenuptial about your children. And a lot of people have said, yeah, we put in the prenuptial that we would split custody of the children. That would never be a question, that our children would be split 50-50 custody. You can put that in a prenuptial and you don't even have any kids. But it's just making sure that if this thing go left, one person is not trying to keep the children away from the other person. They would have to, and look, the one couple I know, they put in the prenup that they put the circumstances. They actually spelled out the circumstances in which the other parent would lose custody of the children. If none of those things were present, they would have 50-50 custody. That to me is smart. That's just smart. That's just smart. Now do everything in your power. Do everything in your will to stay married. People are not doing enough to stay married. She says, do you believe in revising prenups during the course of the marriage for XYZ reasons? You can. You sure can. That's totally up to the couple. But this is one of those situations that it truly depends on. I'm kicking the thing, y'all. It truly depends on the couple, right? You all know, one thing you know about me is my platform does talk to the majority, right? I've always said that. I don't recognize individual, oh, well, that's not me. I'm not that type of man. I'm not that type of woman. I don't recognize that. I recognize the bell curve. I've talked about that often. The majority of y'all live in the 80%. You think you're unique, but you're not. Okay? Those are the people that I tend to address. This is the only time, and there might be some other things. There's some other things now that I'm thinking about it. But this is one of the times where I would actually say it depends on the individual couple. Every couple is different. Okay? Every couple is going to be different. And again, if it's something that's important to you, please put this out there. Put this out there sooner rather than later. Don't be like old boy showing up the day of the wedding and she ain't signing. I mean, that's just straight foolishness. That man wasted a whole lot of money being foolish. I wouldn't even have planned no wedding until the prenuptial was signed. I wouldn't have planned no wedding until the prenuptial was signed. So he wasted his money planning a whole wedding only to leave her at the altar. That's something that he should have thought about. But please talk to people about this. If you are if you're in the business of wanting to get married, it's something that I would suggest you strongly talk about in the early stages of your relationship. Hey, what do you think about prenuptials? Listen, right? Ask a person what they think about it and listen to the answer. Share what you think about it. And then as the relationship progresses, like, hey, I really think that's something that I'm going to do. That if I were to get married, I would have a prenuptial with the person that I marry, and that's it. You don't even need to make it about them. You just let the person know what you're going to do. And then they get to decide if they're going to stay with you and be with you or not. That's all. So if I said, yeah, I think that's something I'm strongly leaning toward. These are the assets I have. I want those assets to go to my children, and I'm older. So I certainly, I would do everything in my power to make sure that if I were to die before my husband, right now I have $1 million life insurance policy. So I would probably maintain that policy. I would make sure that my assets went to my children, and I would make sure a portion of those assets, the life insurance would go to my children. I would have the rest of it go to my husband to make sure that he was, taken care of to the best of his ability. But yeah, there's plenty of ways you can make sure everyone is covered. And so, yes, I'm very practical. I'm very practical. I am not that Cinderella Disney fairy. I'm just not, y'all. I'm just not. I love a good cute meet. I love a good romantic story as much as the next person, but I also lean on the side of being practical. I lean on the side of logic and rationale. I think that's what's gotten women in trouble all these years. Y'all are too far on your right brain. You're too far into your emotions all the time and how things feel. And, the last client I was working with, we moved in after 3 months and it was a whirlwind relationship. There's no way he could have done X, Y, and Z. There's no way that this could have happened. We were in love. Y'all, 18 months later, this man robbed her blind, cheated with her friend. I mean, like I said, you cannot trust your feelings. You cannot trust other people's feelings. You need to lean on the side of your logic. You need to use your rational mind. So no, I will never 100% trust my feelings. I will go over to the side of logic, and this is what I do. And I showed y'all this before. I take some paper and I write some lists. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. See, that's Anita. Okay. So it ain't just how I feel. I pull out a piece of paper. I write down everything that makes sense and everything that don't make sense. And then I put those two things together. But see, y'all skip that part. Y'all rely solely on your feelings. This woman gonna move this man in after 3 months. There's no way he can. Baby, you an old fool. So no, I ain't in the business of being an old fool. I've lived this long and made it this far and been this successful because I use this side of my brain. I don't just use this side. I use this side. And I'm going to encourage y'all to do the same. You need to learn how to let logic and facts enter into your reasoning. God gave you that side of your brain for a reason. Okay? So that's it. Those are my thoughts. I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts. The gentleman spoke on the trust. I'm definitely going to look into that because Nan's got me curious. Like, okay, let me get a trust. Maybe I need to get a trust. Yeah, I'm going to look into that. Because, like I said, whatever is going to protect my assets, I've worked very hard all these years. And yes, I would love the man that I am with. And, of course, if I were to die, heaven forbid, I'd want him to be taken care of. I wouldn't want him to be struggling. But I also want to leave something to my 3 children. I want to leave something to my mother. So I would keep that in mind. And this idea of, I had another client who said, well, I would depend on my husband. Like I would trust my husband to give to my children, to give to my mother, or to give to whatever. She said, I would trust my husband to do that. And I said, well, okay, and I'm not going to say anything about that, but I'm going to put some things in place so that that's not something he has to worry about. That's how I responded. Like, I'm going to go ahead and do it now while I'm alive. And if I were to die, those things are already in place. I don't have to worry about that. And he doesn't have to worry about it. He doesn't have to worry about doling out whatever it is. Like, those things are already in place. That's all. That's it. Okay, so each and every one of you has got to make up your mind. You've got to figure out for yourself if this is something you want to do. And then you've got to find someone who is in agreement with it. Because don't try to push it on people who are saying, no, I don't, this, and look, they're going to be in their feelings. Well, this makes me think that you think we're going to divorce, or this makes me think you don't trust me. Guess what, y'all? People are entitled to think that, and they're entitled to feel that way. But y'all are not compatible. Please find someone that you are compatible with in that way. Stop trying to change their mind and don't let them change yours. Okay? So if a man came to me and he said, Anita, you wanting this prenup is making me feel a way. Okay, we're not compatible. We are just not compatible, unfortunately. Well, you mean to tell me you want to let this prenup come between our love? I am going to be me, okay? And I want you to be you, right? I'm going to be me, and I'm going to want you to be you. I'm not trying to change you, and I don't want you to change me. But this is a decision that I've made for myself, and I am going to hold to that decision. So again, you can make that mean whatever you want. I'm telling you that we're simply not compatible. And if you don't agree to sign some sort of prenuptial agreement, then we're not compatible. That's it. I'd say wisdom would be to have it all spelled out to avoid any misappropriation of concerns. I personally agree, but like I said, there's 50% of the people on my platform that are like, no, because that means you don't love the person. That means you don't trust them. That means you don't have faith. You don't believe that God put you together. That means that you're setting yourself up for divorce. Like, that's half of the people. So I'm like, okay, and I'm not here to fight with you. I'm not here. You can fight with yourself in the comments section. I'm not here to fight with you. I'm simply stating, find someone that also believes that. Okay? Don't try to change a person's mind that says, no, we need a prenuptial. Okay? But, I'm also a big believer in self-sufficiency. So, see, I don't believe in coming up off of a person. I don't believe in, I marry a rich man. I could marry a billionaire tomorrow. And again, if he made the decision that, 5 years into the marriage, I want someone much younger, Anita. Okay. And I'd go about my business and I'd be just as happy as a clam. I would return to whatever it was I was doing, or I'd start a new business. Like, okay, I am completely capable of managing life on my own. I just don't believe in marrying a person for a come up. That's just me. So again, maybe I'm unique, but I just don't get it. And I don't get the whole sitting around and doing nothing lifestyle. That doesn't appeal to me at all. So that's all. All right. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I'm not going to say the lady's name who reached out to me, but hopefully she will see this video and she's watching tonight. And she'll get some answers to her questions. So I don't know if she's being asked to sign a prenup. But the reality is this. You have got to make that decision for yourself. You've got to decide if that's something you're willing to do. Now, be smart about it, right? Be smart about it. Don't just sign any old thing that says any old stuff. Make sure that the agreement is fair. Make sure that the agreement does spell out all kinds of things that you needed to spell out. And let me finish with this. If you don't want to sign it, okay, but just understand you and that person are not compatible. And that is perfectly okay. you are not compatible. That person is saying, this is a deal breaker for me. Just like that guy, Steven Jackson. He said, yeah, I'm not marrying you without a prenup. And guess what? He was well within his right to do that. He was stupid to plan a wedding. That's my issue, is he should have never planned a wedding unless she had signed a prenup. So he threw away a lot of money and embarrassed a lot of people. That wasn't necessary. He should have said, hey, we'll start planning the wedding as soon as your lawyer looks at the prenup and we go back and forth and then the prenup is signed. I'm happy to plan the wedding. See? Again, use your common sense. I know I know the stock on common sense is like down, right now. Nobody seems to know where it is or seems to have it. But some of this is just common sense. But to the ladies and the gentlemen, if you're not down to do it, find you somebody else. Okay? Don't sit there and try to make them feel bad or wrong. They're not wrong. They're not bad. Just like, guess what? I'm not going to make you wrong for not signing it. I'm just going to find somebody else. I'm going to find somebody else. If that's a deal breaker for me, too bad. See? That's all. All right. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up. Please like the video, thumbs it up, send it, share it with whoever you think could benefit from it. And please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to grow the channel. So I'm about to enter another YouTube challenge. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to step away from Instagram. So I'm just going to take a little Instagram break. And just know this, that even when I am on Instagram, I'm not able to respond to every one of your messages. I'm not able to respond to every video you send. I am not able to respond to all my DMs. But when I'm taking a break from Instagram, I am not looking at my DMs at all. I do not have someone else that goes through my DMs. It's all me. I'm a one-woman show. And so if you send me a DM, unless it's about coaching, that's a little flag that goes off. But unless it's about coaching or making an appointment, I do not respond to messages when I'm on break. So I will be taking a break probably this weekend. You can catch me over on YouTube. That is where I will always be making videos, making content. So please go over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for watching. Have a great night. And as always, stay open to love. How would it feel to have a relationship that is connected and passionate and real? How would it feel to be with a partner who cares as much about you as you care about them? No more drama, no more games, no more online merry-go-round. Hi, I'm Anitastoudmire, and welcome to the Better Love Movement. I want to teach you the skills necessary to attract and keep the amazing love that we all desire. Working with me will help you to uncover those love blocks that we all have. Many of us are pushing love away and we don't even realize it. But you can learn the skills necessary to attract real, genuine love and an amazing partner into your life. It starts with you. Connect with me now and let me guide you to the most amazing relationship possible today.